I invite you to just settle in. Feel the support of the chair, holding you, knowing you're safe. If you're comfortable, close your eyes, open your palms, turn them up to receive. And know that the presence of love is in this very room. I invite you to think about the grace of God and what that means to you. The grace of God is nothing that you earn. The grace of God is never taken away from you. And as it says in Scripture, it rains on the just and the unjust. And that is the grace of God. Think of a time in your life when everything was chaotic and upside down. And yet, at the 11th hour, what you call a miracle happened. That is the grace of God. So know with me today that wherever you are in your life right now, whatever you may be thinking about yourself, about situations, know that you can release them, for the grace of God is always with you. So bringing that gift, that comfort, that knowingness back to this room, knowing it is always there for you. Gently, slowly, and when you're ready, come back to this very room. I'd like to start this morning with a short reading from the prophet Sheboygan, and it is called Self-Knowledge. And he says, "And a man said, 'Speak to us of self-knowledge.' And he answered, saying, 'Your hearts know in silence the secrets of the days and the nights. But your ears thirst for the sound of your heart's knowledge. You would know in words that which you have always known in thought. You would touch with your fingers the naked body of your dreams, and it is well that you should. The hidden wellspring of your soul must needs rise and then run murmuring to the sea, and the treasure of your infinite depths will be revealed to you in your eyes. But let there be no scales to weigh your unknown treasures, and seek not the depths of your knowledge with staff or surrounding line. For self is a sea boundless and measureless. Say not, 'I have found the truth,' but 'I have found a truth.' Say not, 'I have found the path of the soul.' Say rather, 'I have met the soul walking upon my path.' For the soul walks upon paths. The soul walks not upon a line, neither does it grow like a reed. The soul unfolds itself like the lotus of its countless petals." And as I was contemplating this week, fell off my bookshelf, so I opened it and said it must have a message for me in there. So I have a question, and we'll get back to this in a little bit, but I have a question. What is it we see when we come to this center? Anybody? Want to be brave enough to answer that?
Sorry, I coughed. I didn't hear the question.
What is it we see when we come to this center?
Connection.
Yes, a connection, absolutely. A place in heaven, perhaps? Brownie points with God? Just in case we're wrong and God is a walking, talking God with a notebook? Or are we here to connect, to discover and uncover who we really are? So it says in the prophet, your heart knows in silence the secret of the days and nights. If we really were to acknowledge this truth, that our heart knows in the silence the secrets of our days and nights, we would have to face ourselves head on. Depending on your level of self-worth, this can be serious. I mean, this can be scary. And Tong writes this, there is nothing so beautiful and legitimate as to play the role of a man properly. There is no knowledge as hard to acquire as how to live life naturally, and the most barbarous of our maladies is to despise our being. How's that? But this is why so many live in denial or live with addictions. It helps block the side of us we do not want to see, the side of us we despise. And if you think that not many people live in that place, you're wrong, because even I live in that place. There are days that you just see like, who are you? And what were you thinking? And what is this about? And then if you're quick enough to go to First Cause, it says, get over your bloated nothingness, as Emerson would say. So many of our past religious experience have held us in this bondage by the faith such as, I am not worthy, but say the word and we shall be healed. How many of you have heard that in your life? And I remember sitting in Catholic church saying, I'm not saying that. And I wasn't even a New Thought person then, but I'm not saying that. Because, of course I'm worthy. Of course you're worthy. And you heal when you know this truth about yourself. So even though your heart truly knows all your secrets and longs to come out, your heart longs to be heard. You have to listen to your heart. It longs to be free. This is the thirst that the prophet speaks of, the thirst of knowledge. So coming to a New Thought Center then gives you the tools of courage to, what we talked about last week, let your heart sing. Let us define new thought as. So listen, someone says to you, what is new thought? It's a system of thought which affirms the unity of thought in man, the perfection of all life, and the immortality, the eternality of the individual soul forever expanding. Now, next week, you all have to write that out before church starts. So, I'm going to say it again. What is new thought? A system of thought which affirms the unity of thought in man. We take the unity of thought and the unity of man, and it comes together for the perfection of all life, the immortality and the eternality of the individual soul forever expanding. And we're going to do some classes on that, and we're going to get it down into a simpler sentence, because I find that if I ask people, by the way, what's unity, and you say to me, that's not the answer. So I find that it is time for me to then look at that and say, we need to talk about that further. So what does this mean? What does it all mean? It means that we accept the concept of God in nature and God in humanity. God is in the cosmos out there, and God is within each one of us here. And God relates to us through our mind. So when it says a system of thought, God relates to us through our mind. The universal scope is this. This is so simple. God is everywhere present. What do we say? God in me, as me, is me. Say that with me. God in me, as me, is me. It's that simple. So in a word then, new thought is metaphysics. Metaphysics going beyond that which is seen, the five senses. So then what's the difference between new thought and unity, and Christianity rather? We say we don't need an intermediate to get to God. We don't have to go through Jesus to get to God. We can go straight to the source. That's the only dish. Are we Christian? We're Christian and so much more. So the prophet goes on to say this, you would know in a word that which you have only known in thought. You would know in word that which you've only known in thought. So what does that mean? It means it has the answers to all our questions that are already within us. We just need to be validated and hear them, and then discovering your authentic self, all your dreams can come to fruition. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. So many of you said to me, good, bad, or indifferent, what I like about you most is you're always yourself. Sorry, but that's what it is, because it's too hard pretending. It's too hard to be a perfect minister. It's too hard to be holier than thou. It's too hard to be righteous. So I'm just myself. So, but the treasure of that is that it lies buried within you, and you have to go rise up continually to reach that level. It's not somewhere in here, I'm going to sit now anyhow because I want to. It's not about learning to be empowered or learning to be enlightened. It's about unlearning. And that's where we get confused. We have to take classes to learn. No, we need to unlearning. And people will get so confused in the Course of Miracles, and we're not here to talk about that today per se, but in the Course of Miracles, basically that's what it's saying. You have to unlearn all of this stuff that's going on here to find the truth of who and what you are and being one and be connected with your God. So that's what being, I don't know, I'm having trouble with the E words today. So that's what it means to be enlightened, to be unlearning, to unlearn all that we thought we knew and go into a deeper level of consciousness. And these treasures are buried within. So while it takes courage and strength to push forward, we know instinctively that we need something more. Listen to what Van Gogh writes. I love this. We can obtain heavenly bliss through strength alone. Let me rephrase that. We cannot obtain heavenly bliss through strength alone, but with the assistance of divine grace. Isn't it interesting? I'm talking about grace, and grace is the reading for today, and I didn't know that when Van Gogh didn't know that when he wrote this. But We can't not obtain heavenly bliss through strength alone, but with the assistance of divine grace. And man, despite his follies and errors, being led by a higher hand, reaches some happy goals at last. The grace of God. So, as we begin then to find ourselves, there's a tendency to feel we've arrived. And we know that we're enlightened. And as we just talked about, that being enlightened is not about learning, it's about unlearning. And that process is very tricky, because when you go around and go, well, all of this doesn't exist, well, I'm right here and I'm looking at it. So yes, it exists in the little R reality, but in our mind, there is perfection and there's something higher to go through. So the prophet tells us this, not to weigh our unknown treasures, for we are boundless sea and we're measureless. Measureless means we can have it all, whatever it all is to each individual, what all it is. So this is important, because this is where New Thought students, newbies, tend to get self-righteous, holier than thou, and can be arrogant. I remember in the beginning, I didn't know I was doing this, but my family was going crazy if they heard one more thing about New Thought or religious science or Emerson or any of those things and the mind and the universe. I mean, they would see me coming and they'd go the other way. Because we get so excited about the newness that we want to give it to everybody, but we can't give it to anyone. We can only give it to ourselves. So when you understand this, start to under yourself with a new perspective. It comes with humility and sadness and joy at the same time. See, when you feel overwhelmed and feel the pain, even the slightest remark against comes back to haunt you. When you say something against another person, I am here to tell you, it comes back to haunt you. But in that sadness, in that knowingness, that's when you're on the true path of evolution. Because when you can feel and understand and going, darn, I never wanted to do it that way, or I shouldn't have said that, or whatever, that's when ABC, awareness brings consciousness. ABC, awareness brings consciousness. When you can go, oops, that's evolution, moving forward. So positive feelings. And you know what? I came to something in meditation yesterday, and it was about, you know, the 20-80 rule, and I'm not talking about money or tithing or anything, you know, the 20-80 rule, 20% do 80% of all of the work and all of that, and these are all the good guys, and then these are the, you know, guys over here. And I thought, wait a minute, why do we do that? Why don't we reverse it? Why don't we know that 80% are doing the best they can and bless and be in gratitude for the 20% that help make 100%? Why don't we reverse it? You know, it was really interesting, but I showed all of the pictures. I took tons and tons of pictures with me to New York of all of you and showed, and this is me, this person, and this is me, this person, and this is me, this person, and all of this is the board, and I was so excited about all of you. And then my friend Julie said, well, what about that person? That person doesn't look happy. And I said, that person never looks happy. But here's my point. When I had this thought process yesterday of the 80-20, so maybe that person only has 10% of happiness within his or her own being. And let's bless the 10 or 20% of happiness they have. And remember, me included, that I have never walked a mile in their shoes. And this is someplace that we all need to go. We need to go there. Give everybody the benefit of the doubt. Everybody. We're going to talk about that more next week for Lent, but anyhow. So the prophet goes on to say, say not that I have found the truth. Have any of us found the truth yet? No. But say, I have found a truth. I found a truth in my meditation on Saturday. A truth. That makes me a better person, and that makes me a better person for you, and that makes me serve God better. So herein lies the humility. As we discover and uncover our beauty, then, we are ready to accept the truth, one truth at a time. We can't grasp all of this. This has been going on for billions of years. I mean, the oldest one here is not me, but that's only a short period of time that we've been here. The prophet says the soul walks not upon a line. Our life doesn't go straight like this. It goes up and down and weaves and curves, and sometimes it even goes under the ground. But it rises back up again. Neither does it grow like a reed. The soul doesn't, we're not born and it goes, well, actually it does until, God bless you, until parents, teachers, and ministers, rabbis, and priests get on top of the kid and change all that beautiful energy that they have that they're born with. The soul unfolds. Listen to this. The soul unfolds itself like a lotus of countless petals. Think about that. Think about the lotus being so tight. And again, in my thought from Saturday, we talk about the onion peeling and peeling another lever and making us cry, and peeling another one and make... No, let's not do that anymore. Let's go to the lotus that's all tight, and it opens one petal at a time, and each petal then stands for a truth. I love that. I love that. Countless petals of the lotus. And this is our life then. We don't walk a straight line. There are twists, there's turns, there's unfoldment. It takes time, not in our time, but in God's time. And in Hebrew, in God's time is 3 days. 3 days means in God's time. It doesn't mean 1, 2, 3. It means in God's time. So, back to my original question. Why are you here in this center? Here's what my belief is. Because we all are, including myself, striving to reach a higher understanding of this thing called life. That's it. I believe we want to elevate to a higher soul level, and I believe that instinctively know that spiritual fitness, or flexing our spiritual muscles along with love, that's the key to inner peace. That's the key to world peace. At the higher soul level, we instinctively know that we have spiritual fitness. We have a spiritual muscle, and we're flexing it. And we add love into that. And we feel peace. I believe that we join any organization if it affords us to become larger than we are. Stepping up and stepping out allows us to grow and to expand and create a larger circle of experience, new friends, and put others before ourselves. Charles Fillmore wrote this: when we commune with spirit within and ask for new ideas, they are always forthcoming. So coming together then as our spiritual community is about doing something together that makes belonging matter. We're having a wonderful potluck today, and we've got soups cooking downstairs, and we're coming together because it matters what we're celebrating today. And those of you that come weekly or most weeks, you've sought each other out in consciousness to belong to a greater good. So to that end, then, each one of us is building this center on the wisdom passed down through the ages. Brene Brown writes this: when you get to a place where you understand that love and belonging and your worthiness is a birthright, not something you have to earn, anything is possible. Spirit powers is the most important expression that we can live a life. Spirit is empowering us. Rather than seeking a brilliant career, seek the brilliance within yourself. And when you seek the brilliance within yourself, then careers or relationships or whatever it is that you want to give back to this universe will open up. when you recognize the brilliance and you release it into expression through you, then you're here to do what love has asked you to do. So go to work to express spirit, to express joy. There's no more powerful way to increase your gifts than to share them. So what does that mean? Well, it means waking up and being grateful for one thing. So this morning I woke up and I asked the cat, was she grateful for me? And then I asked Timothy if I was grateful for the cat. And it sounds funny and humorous and sweet, but you know what it is? It's acknowledging the very little thing you have next to you to be grateful for. Just to be grateful. So what does it mean? It means becoming part of a spiritual community. Coming here is being a part of a spiritual community, right? It means that we know that any time that you cannot see the truth for yourself, others will see it for you. Annie will see it, Martin will see it, I will see it, or any other person in this church. You don't have to have a title to be a prayer partner. You don't have to have a title to be a minister. You are all ministers. You're all ministers of love. It means having a second family that supports you in kindness and understanding. You guys are my family. I don't even call you my second family. I just call you family. It means that you have a place where you continually grow and transform with people of like mind. We've all seen growth, and you guys, before I even got here, you guys see growth in me from when I came here almost 2 years ago. We all witnessed that, but we should celebrate it. I'm not going to thank God they finally got that. But Celebrate the goodness and the growing and the transformation in each one of us. It means for those with young children, there is a place for them to know that they are beloved children of God. Most definitely. To have a deep sense of love and belonging, then, is an incredible need of all people. People who say, I don't need anybody, or to me, it's sort of like being an atheist. You know, don't believe in anything, but I really do. If I'm really sick, dear God, don't let me die. So the truth is, belonging starts with self-acceptance. Your level of belonging can never be greater than your level of self-acceptance. Because why? Believing that you are enough is what gives you the courage to be authentic, vulnerable, and imperfect. Not perfect, imperfect. So I truly invite you to continue to be a member of this dynamic spiritual community. The collective vision is to bring all people, all diversities and spiritual traditions together to celebrate the presence of Spirit. It's time to fly high with God, to know Spirit, to know what it feels like to really be alive, to be well and to be happy. And together we can change our lives and change this world one heartbeat at a time. So this is what I want you to know. Everyone in this room and those that can't be with us today, you already belong here. You already belong here. You already are holy and beautiful. You already are loved. Like each other. Each one of you love each other. In a different space, a different way, but you all love one another. Now you too must love and be loving and help others when they feel the need to be loved. We are